Hey guys, this is Kevin at Watchhimtrade.com. Today's date is April 19th, 2015. This is going to be a video chart on Netflix NFLX. Netflix was the big mover this week, going from 470-ish on earnings on up to 570-ish. But before that, it had already gone from 410 on up to 470, made a big time move ahead of earnings. And so this move here personally did surprise me, because it's one of those things where you say, all right, well, you made such a big move ahead of earnings. How much bigger of a move are you going to be able to make? Obviously, that was foolish thinking, as the stock just blew it out of the water. And now you're at all-time highs, coming up near 600 bucks. Just a $400 stock just about at the beginning of the month, now nearly a $600 stock. So the daily chart, to me, you can't get much out of the daily chart other than the stock has been a monster and it's overbought. But overbought conditions don't mean a stock has to go down. You could have said, like I did, that the stock was overbought going into the earnings report, and we know what it did. So I'm just going to kind of not put much analysis to the daily chart and just look at this 15-minute chart to get a read on what's going on here. So this is the move after hours, this big bar right here. This was on Wednesday. Stock was around 470, and then just in 15 minutes went up to 530. And you can see how good of a job it did after hours holding on to that part of the move, staying up above 530. And then market open on Thursday, and boom, you just held above 530 and kept on going all the way into the close just about. And then Friday you had a gap down of a few points, but again, opening 15 minutes you just raced higher. Now the difference between Friday and Thursday is you didn't keep on going on Friday. After the first 30 minutes of the day, you just kind of stayed within a consolidation range on Netflix. So the first thing I want to point out is that these first 2 days you have been able to stay above the initial 15-minute low. The first low a day that Netflix has made has been the only low a day that Netflix has made. And you can see this even further if I break this down into a 3-minute chart, because I believe it hasn't gone beneath that. Let me just get rid of this after hours so it looks a little bit cleaner. So yeah, so first I'll show Thursday. So there's the big time gap up, and you can see this initial 3-minute low, the first low from the day, never got violated, never went below it. And then again on Friday's gap down, your first low of the day got bought up, never went below that low of the day. So immediately I'll be watching that first low of the day. You know, whatever low it makes within the first 5 to 15 minutes, that becomes a key reference point to me, because through all this momentum the last 48 hours, you have yet to go below that low. So that's my first trigger in terms of saying, okay, momentum's slowing down, maybe this thing's ready to roll over, or at least cool off and consolidate. That'll be if it goes below that low. If you continue to hold that first low that you're making, then I mean there's really no telling what Netflix can do at this point. 575 was Friday's high. Watch for a move above that. When you got above Thursday's high at 568, you did get a nice 7-point rip up to 75. So above 575, I'll be looking for more upside in the immediate term. Wouldn't be surprised by maybe some consolidation, as you did kind of drop into that on Friday, trading in a 6-7 point range or so. But that was a very tradable range. You know, lots of up-down action on Netflix, so even though the daily movement in the afternoon kind of stopped, didn't make new highs, didn't make new lows, you still had such a wide range on the stock that you were really able to get some good trading opportunities out of it if you were following it closely. So, again, watch that first low of the day. That's the first thing I'll be watching. And aside from that, some levels here, you know, 570, just over-under in the immediate term. And then your afternoon low from Friday was just right under 565, and then your Friday low of 558 overall will be a key low to me as well, because below 558 you can start giving up some of this move that you made on Thursday and trying to come back down towards 550 to 540. But if you're not moving lower, then you've got one of two things. You're either going to be consolidating or you're continuing to go higher. Again, I don't know. The stock is just at a life of its own right now, and I think it's naive to try and act like you know what it's going to do. So just going to be open-minded and observe the action, let it do its thing. Longer term, this gap up becomes very important. All right, $530. As long as you stay above $530 long term, Netflix is a very strong looking stock. I mean, this is a multi-year breakout, as I'll show in a moment. Below 530, and you can fill this gap down towards 500 and 475. So let's look at the longer term chart, because I do want to show just how clean this thing looks on the weekly. I mean, look at that. Here's your resistance, your long-term consolidation between 300 and 450, 470-ish, and then just booyah! Smack way up through it, got above $500, huge volume. I mean, that's just textbook. Any technical trader would look at this and say that's a breakout, long-term breakout. So just wanted to show that. But again, 530 longer term, that's my key momentum level.